We have better comedians coming out. Our next comedian is Bick.
I'm not singing, but I can dance. Okay. Very good, very good. I thought I'd start with a disclaimer. I'm not here on behalf of the Mormon Church, despite what the visual would imply. I actually wanted to start doing a little crowd work. I wonder, is anyone in the audience feeling kind of brave tonight? Anyone feeling adventurous?
Yeah.
No one? Devin? No, wait, you're not. You just kind of look like Devin. Devin too? What's the last thing you searched in your Google search history? It's okay. Zuckerberg already knows. It's basically public.
I really can't remember.
You can't. Zuck remembers. So that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. After the show,
Let's
maybe.
say, Hoka running shoes.
Hoka. You gotta explain that to me, man. Hoka running shoes?
They're the best
Are
car.
they the toe ones?
No, they have a lot of support foam.
You're really selling me on the shoe.
Yeah.
Hoka running shoe.
Last week.
Okay, next set. I might have to do a set on that. Okay, but tell me if you guys have done this too. Basically, what jazzes me out with like Google is I'll search something and then an ad comes up for it like the next day. You know, like because I think Google's trying to see what I like and they're trying to tailor all my ads to things that I'm into. So maybe I'll search for like trips to Vegas. I'll get ads for casinos and B&B, like Airbnb. I'll search for, I don't know, like Bachelor recaps. Don't judge me. And I'll get ads for like the 64-ounce wine glass. I'll search for, I don't know, NFL scores, and I'll get ads for Viagra. And I just sit there like, what? Do I look like I need Viagra? Don't think too hard about that. I don't. Not only am I a 21-year-old male, but I'm 21 years old and definitely celibate. I live the life of a Buddhist monk. My housemates call my room the chastity chamber. It's okay to laugh. I named it myself. But so, you know, I think when you see all these ads being tailored to stuff you Google, it might make you feel a lot of ways, you know? Maybe it'll make you feel scared, maybe a little annoyed. Not for me. You know how I'm feeling? Opportunistic. That's right. Little cogs in my brain are going because I'm feeling smart. I'm feeling crafty. When I'm presented with the opportunity to completely change what I look like and who I am, I pounce on that. I've been trying to do that since age 6. It's not that simple, all right? Because anytime I can tailor my online personality to be different from my real life personality, that's a benefit because my real life personality is a man cherub. Okay, I've been told I look like the Bible camp version of a Ken doll. I get told like I look like a Catholic youth minister that tries to outreach to the kids with raps about chastity. Don't think too hard about how accurate that is. But it's true. But so the cogs are turning because, you know, when I go back home, my parents snoop a lot on my Googles, on my history, and they like to know what I'm up to. It shapes their perception of who I am. And so then I'm thinking, wait a minute. If I can alter what my parents perceive of me, that's probably a good thing. Because what's my biggest goal in life? Is it winning a Nobel Prize? Winning last comic standing? Winning my parents' approval. That's it. That's all it takes. That's sweet, sweet nectar of getting the old hair tussle from my dad. Boy, does it fire me up in the morning. And so naturally, in an attempt to win my dad's approval, I diligently spent all of fall quarter. It was a real grind. Just Googling things that make me seem like a real boy. You know, I'm searching for pictures of smoked meats. I'm looking at highlights from the lawn mowing Olympics 2019. Even threw in a few Viagra ads just to be sure. Okay, I'll cut the Viagra. Deal. But I'll tell you what, Google knows their stuff. This is the best thing Google's done for me because it paid enormous dividends. My dad, since then, doesn't even call me Cam. He just calls me Champ. or chief, slugger, and I'm feeling on top of the moon. Yeah, okay, I'm feeling on top of the moon. I'm gonna patent that. That's the real phrase. I'm feeling great. We do a lot of like father-son bonding now because he's taking an interest, and we actually had a Top Gun marathon a few weeks ago. You may be asking, Cam, isn't there only one Top Gun movie? And you're right, but we just skip ahead to the shirtless volleyball scene and watch it over and over until it sticks. So my dad, very easy guy to win over, right? My mom is a lot more, she's a lot more by the book. She's a tougher opponent. Because she only wants one thing out of me for her approval. It don't mean a thing if I ain't got the ring. And so she tells me a lot of her anecdotes always lead back to marriage. They always lead back to people getting married. I remember when she was selling me to come to Santa Clara. This one really worked too. She was like, son, I really think at Santa Clara, you're going to find your wife. And I should have known from the second that she said that was complete bullcrap. Because she didn't meet my dad at Santa Clara. She met him after. But she still had the gall to tell me that story. It makes no sense to me. I know. But she has a very flowery vision of Santa Clara from her past. I remember she told me to room in Swig. Because she's like, Swig's really social. Swig's really great. But, usually around nighttime it gets pretty quiet. Everyone starts studying. Yeah, social, but they're pretty tame. I remember she told me about a lot of the relationships. People are just kind of looking for marriage. Maybe they'll hold hands, but that's about as far as they'll go. Evidence to the contrary, Amy. Because the prosecution's been seeing a lot of offenses on Santa Clara's campus. Things have changed a lot since the roaring 80s. I've seen quite a bit of PDA around campus, and I know people do it. I don't mean to judge. I don't mean to discriminate. I just want to point out what I've seen. I've seen a lot more than hand-holding, and I've seen it all around campus. All right? Everyone's guilty of it. Everyone is trying to stake the claim. I get it. But I've seen it in a lot of places I maybe don't want to see. I'm seeing PDA in the library. I'm seeing it in the engineering building. The mission. All over. It's like an epidemic. The worst case probably being the library. I remember this one time, I'm studying there for an econ exam, first floor, so maybe I should have been expecting it. Oh well. And I'm on the first floor over by the stairs, by the computers, and this couple, let's call them Brad and Tinnifer. It seemed fitting for them. This is a sit-down story. So Brad and Tinnifer are, they're sitting together and studying. Brad's working on an essay. Tinnifer, I don't know, just being supportive. I got more laughs than the Viagra joke. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. So, Brad decides that the world doesn't really know that Brad and Tinnifer are dating, and he needs to remind them of that. And so he's working on an essay, but he moves one hand over to the shoulder. And I'm like, okay, all right, Brad, that's cleared by the church. That's okay. And so I look back down at my notes. I'm like, okay, supply and demand, exchange rates, interest rates. I look back up because I'm curious. The hand's getting a bit lower. I'm getting a little cautious. Brad's starting to scare me. His hand's about right here. It's in the midsection. I'm like, okay, Brad, but that's it. Don't go any lower. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. I go back down to my notes. Global economy, international trade, tariffs. I get more concerned. I look back up. His hand's kind of at the hip. I'm like, all right, Brad, you better stop it there, buckaroo. Your dad's not going to want to call you champ after this. And I look back, getting a little nervous. Depression, inflation, global trade war. I look back up. Our worst fears recognized. Brad has managed not only to have his hand in the butt area. Couldn't think of a better word. Brad has managed to somehow nestle his hand in between the chair and the butt. Like a sexually confused pancake. Still working on the essay, by the way. Like single-handing it. And at that point, I'm kind of... At that point, I'm kind of impressed because he's able to sacrifice his academic career for his love life. Like, because you're working at half speed at that point, right? Like, does he have to submit his papers late now? What do you tell your teachers? Like, hey, professor, so like, I was working on my essay last night, and then something grabbed hold of me. Rather, I grabbed hold of it, but my attention was divided, and I'm going to need another day for all of my essays going forward. Like, should that be a learning disability now? Easily distracted? We could call it CBCC, chronic butt cupping condition. Yeah, that works. Like, I feel like I should file a petition with the Disabilities Resources Center to like get him extra time because that's the only way he's going to pass. So, Brad Tinnifer, I salute your hustle. I'm not calling you champ until you revoke it a little bit, but I respect your hustle. And I hope your relationship ends up well. And I hope you've lasted. Anyway, guys, that's my time tonight. You've been fantastic. Thank you very much.